Well, hello. Welcome into another episode of the Patriots podcast. I'm Sean here with Ryan and JJ.
Hello.
What's up?
Gentlemen, it's the best season of the year. It's draft season. This is our special draft episode. Thank you all for tuning in. We could not be more jacked up about this. Patriots have their highest first round draft pick in 13 years, I believe, something like that. 13, 14 years since the Gerard Mayo pick.
Mm-hmm.
That's more like 15 years. But we want to talk about all these prospects, quarterbacks, defensive backs, tackles. We're going to get in the weeds in a serious way. So bear with us, skip through whatever you're not interested in, but we will have a Patriots focus in the middle here. Off the bat, quarterbacks. Have you seen all this talk? I mean, some people, I think it might have been Mel Kiper, of all people, who said top 4 picks in the draft might all be quarterbacks. I think he had one of his mock drafts, all top 4 quarterbacks. Some people are saying could be as many as 5 quarterbacks in the first round. Ryan, I know you are super into this stuff. How do you see these quarterbacks? Let's say 1 through 5. Bryce Young is my number one. I don't know who you got number one.
Yeah, I have Bryce Young number one. I have CJ Stroud number two. Where they get drafted, not necessarily in that order. Um, Definitely, you look at the way Anthony Richardson performed at his combine throughout the season, up and down games, but you can see the talent. It's a rare talent. Um, I could see him getting overdrafted, not overdrafted based on the physicals, but based on what he's put on tape. Levis, a lot of these quarterback hungry teams will go there. Cardinals could get a lot for number three. The Bears already moved down. Carolina jumped them, and they got a haul for that number one pick. And then the Colts, they're sitting at number four. I could see that happening. Um, if the Cardinals stay put, obviously that's probably not going to happen. They have Kyler Murray. They have big contract there. I don't think that would happen in that scenario, but yeah, you could see it happen. I definitely don't think 3 and 4 are like, if they take quarterbacks there, I don't think that's based on anything other than this is a QB driven league.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. From those top 5 quarterbacks, and I'll open this up to both you guys. So we got Bryce Young, Will Levis. Will Levis is really rising. A lot of buzz about him lately. CJ Stroud seems to have taken a back seat and is potentially the third guy off the board at this point. Who knows? Maybe even fourth. Those 3 guys, Anthony Richardson, as you mentioned, Hendon Hooker, quarterback out of Tennessee. Those are kind of the 5 names that are floating in that first round tier. If you guys had to pick one of those guys to be an out and out Zach Wilson, Josh Rosen style bust, who's the guy? And I suppose we should do the other end of it too. Somebody that's going to be, let's say, superstar, Pro Bowler, that type of player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, obviously, as you guys know, and probably listeners know at this point, I am not nearly as invested in this stuff as you guys are. But I'm going to go with, I think Stroud, just because he had so much buzz coming out right after the year, which I usually go to. I mean, every single year we come, it's like there's 1 or 2 guys that are considered the best, and there's always this conversation of, quarterbacks are going late. That's what we're looking at. And then the combine happens and it turns the whole conversation on its head because we see people like a Will Anderson that's got the measurables and just comes out of nowhere. I'm sorry, not Will Anderson.
Levis,
Richardson,
Will
Anthony
Levis.
Richard,
Oh, there you go.
Will Levis, Anthony Richardson. Yeah, those 2 guys just like kind of came out of nowhere. They were touted before, but now people are talking about them in the top 10. They weren't talked about before. So I would say, I don't know. This I'd go with CJ Stroud as probably the most likely to succeed. I think Bryce Young is just really small. I mean, the guy can play. He played at Alabama. We've seen that go both ways in the NFL as of late, and he doesn't have the size. It's really hard to make that jump. You got to be so freaking good. Maybe he's the guy, but I don't know. I think that's tough. But I don't know. Anthony Richardson from Florida just kind of coming out of nowhere. I don't know a whole ton about him, but I feel like everyone's just going on him because he can zip the ball and he's huge. And generally, that's not like the greatest
Yeah.
thing to go
Yeah.
off of strictly.
Just
Will Levis, I feel like is more interesting just because he's from Kentucky. He's kind of not from a big time. It's a pretty big school, but not something everyone's looking at. So he
yeah,
might be your sleeper.
that's good. That's good. Let me just add a little bit more context. Will Levis started his college career at Penn State and
Yeah,
transferred,
as a freshman.
Okay,
and,
Right.
right.
and then Anthony Richardson at the combine, 6'4", 245, ran a 4.43.
Right.
Right.
That's a lot of buzz right there.
So
So Ryan, what do you got?
I think that a lot of people would say Anthony Richardson there as the biggest bust potential, but I don't see it because he's got that floor as an elite running quarterback, which you can always use. So right there, he's got something that I think Levis, based on what I've seen from him at Kentucky, is a lot of picks on tape, a lot of bad decisions, some inaccuracy. The mechanics aren't always great. I think that of those four guys, and I'm not counting Hendon Hooker in there, I think that if he gets drafted in the first round, it's just an overdraft. I would say
Is he bad? Is he
he's
just
not
like
bad. He's
just
25. He's
not?
coming off a major injury,
Oh,
and
right,
he's
ACL, right? That's the guy with the ACL.
yeah, and he could be 26 by the time he's playing. Um,
Well, I'm reading
And
his
really
full time.
only
stats right up here, and you
really
created
only had
Will Levis, so
well, yeah, Hendon Hooker only really had one good season in college, and he was 24 years old, and he was playing Josh Heupel's offense, who's the head coach of Tennessee, who was formerly with Oklahoma. So that's where you got the Kyler Murray, the Baker Mayfield, those offenses. So
Right.
those guys, they put up huge numbers, and he didn't even put up that big of numbers. I think 3,000 yards, not even this season.
Yeah, I certainly think that um, Richardson with he's got some up and down tape, specifically like the Kentucky game. He looks great, and then there's other games where he looks horrible, and it's up and down. But I think the ceiling, or actually I should say the floor, is much higher than Levis's. Um, Levis scares me for a guy we're going to pick in the top four. He's got a lot of bad tape, um, but the talent's there. Bryce Young, to me, easy. The way he moves in the pockets, the way he looks off safeties, reads defenses, makes smart decisions, buys time. I don't care about the size. Guy can straight up play quarterback, accurate. He's got everything except for the size. There's really not a lot of weaknesses to Bryce Young's game.
Perfect. That's
all
exactly
right.
what I wrote. And I'll make a plug here and I'll do it again at the end of the show. NFLdrafthead.com. I post all my scouting reports. Not super extensive this year, only 30 some odd prospects. But Bryce Young, I wrote, if he was 6'3", 220, he would be no brainer.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he's Andrew Luck. He's Trevor Lawrence. He's one of those type of prospects.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that he finds holes to throw through, it's Drew Brees esque the way that
Yeah,
he does that. So I think his ceiling is like Drew Brees with like potentially better feet.
and
That's his ceiling, and I think
it's
his floor is Kyler Murray, which is already a guy that got paid $150 million.
I think they're a little bit different. Him and Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray certainly wants to take off more than he does.
Yeah,
Bryce Young almost wants to find a passing lane. But either way, you look at what Bryce Young's done at Mater Dei in California. It's the biggest high school program in the country. He fucking dominated there. Goes to Alabama. Everybody's bigger than him. He's going to be
Yeah,
playing
no, he's
against guys in the SEC that are about that size and are at the next level. And it didn't phase him. He's unfazed by pressure, the big moment. I just think it's easy. I would
he looks patient. He looks like
very
the game
patient.
is too slow for him, and he absolutely aced the cognitive test. I think it's called the S2, the new one, the new Wonderlick.
Hmm.
a new Wonderlick.
Absolutely aced it. Yeah, CJ Stroud bombed it, and he was like, I'm not here to take tests. I'm here to play football. All right, man.
Right.
You wouldn't say that if you aced the test.
That's what Stroud said.
Yeah, he's really falling for me. Bryce Young, hands down, the superstar candidate right here.
Okay.
In retrospect, when Carolina made the trade, I was like, ooh, that's a lot to give up, especially when the word on the street was they didn't really know who they were going to take. But if they take Bryce Young, I think he's leaps and bounds ahead of the other quarterbacks in this draft. So I feel like Carolina's gone the retread process for a couple of years at quarterback, and they got the
Mhm.
opportunity to take a guy that could be a franchise player here.
One thing
I think Will.
I've definitely heard that it's a Frank Reich team, so it's a lot of his past history has been based on big quarterbacks. That's kind of been his favorite. But then you hear the consensus in the room, so it makes me feel like it's more than him making that decision, and that for me is the reason why I think Bryce Young is going to go number one.
Got to be. And then Will Levis was, every year going into the college football season, they'll be like, this guy could be the number one pick in next year's draft. And Will
Mm-hmm.
Levis was right in that conversation at the beginning of last season and didn't play well. I think he probably had a better junior season than a senior season, but on film, I'm like he's not reading and reacting quickly. He misses high, which is just going to get tip balls, safety interceptions. He's going to have a lot of turnovers early in his career.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think, I don't know, it sounds like he came from a pro style offense, so he speaks pro style language. Probably did well in the interviews because of that. He looks
Mm-hmm.
the part. He's a 6'4", 230, great athlete.
Ripped.
Didn't run at the combine, but it's pretty clear he can move really well.
Mm-hmm.
I just the film doesn't look good, and the fact that he didn't beat out Sean Clifford at Penn State, who has been garbage year after year for Penn State,
It's not a good sign.
I'm like, how's this possible that he got shipped out? And so I
Yeah,
just
but
think,
he was only a freshman. I mean, I do have questions though. The mechanics aren't always good. He didn't get to showcase a lot of throws outside the numbers at Kentucky. His supporting cast wasn't very good. Um, I see a lot of timing issues with him, where I feel like his timing isn't off. The ball should be out, a half steps sooner. Um, I don't want to get too deep on quarterbacks though, because I'm hoping that as a Patriots fan, we're not in the mix for a quarterback. I don't really want to see that, especially in the first round.
yeah, right.
God no.
So
Oh my
in
God.
the
Wait, were
in
you
the
guys just
interest,
talk? Was that Anthony Richardson you were just talking about,
I
or
was talking
Levis?
about Will Levis. Will Levis. Yeah.
Levis
Levis. Okay.
Levis
Yeah.
Richardson throws a fastball every single time. It's like you got to figure out something else. Josh Allen, he
Josh
kind
Allen
of
figured it
compares
out.
to Josh Allen, where it's like the college tape is not that impressive. It's super inconsistent, but the physical skills are there and present. It's going to be a project to get him there. I don't think he'll be a first year starter the way that Josh Allen was. I hope not. I hope he winds up in a better situation than that Anthony Richardson that this is.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, in the interest of not getting too deep on quarterbacks, and by the way, we're going to do a mock draft at the end of this where we'll go through the whole first round. Um, favorite players, like right off the bat, Ryan. I know you've looked at 1,000,001 prospects. Do you have like a short list of favorites?
Well, early in the first round, um, I love Devin Witherspoon. I've been saying that
Yeah,
for
you've sold me on him.
ever
As a
since I
player.
started watching his tape. Unbelievable as far as recognition skills, the athletic ability, the way he's just a gamer. You can see the confidence on tape. Like he wants the number one guy at all times. He's involved in the run game. He's got great ball skills as a corner from Illinois and a loaded secondary. They play pretty good competition there. Um, he just jumps off the tape to me. That's my favorite corner. If he drops to 14, and as much as I want to tackle in this draft, if he drops to 14, which I really highly doubt, um, that's an easy one for me. I'm sorry, you're not going to find that guy as deep as this class is with corners. The anticipation skills are off the charts. I mean, you look at some of these screenplays, and he's two steps ahead of people. You know, he's already reading the play before the play is even developed, and he's in the backfield smashing people. Um, he's got real lockdown ability too. I'm excited about him. Wide receiver, there's a handful of guys. There's a lot of smaller outlier. This is kind of the way we're
Mm-hmm.
going, I think. Smaller outlier, slot only, but not necessarily used in the slot role in college. Um, I love Zay Flowers. Um, I don't. I kind of doubt we'd have a take him at 14, and I think he'll be gone by our next time we pick. You get this guy in open space, and it's just a nightmare. Over 50% of his yards this season came from yards after the catch, which is incredible, especially considering he played for Boston College, and there's no one else in that fucking team you even have to worry about. Teams knew
Yeah, literally.
teams knew he was getting the ball, and they just couldn't deal with him. You look at the some of the measurables. He's like 5'9", 182, 5'10", maybe. Uh, pretty well built, but small. Really short arms, which is going to hinder him a little bit, and
Dinosaur.
maybe yeah. A couple other positions. I like Darnell Wright as far as just a versatile tight end. Um, Probably the
Darnell
best.
Washington.
Darnell Washington. Thinking about the tackle.
Yeah.
No, but the tight end from Georgia, a little bit
Mm-hmm.
overshadowed by Brock Bowers this year as far as receiving tight end. But you look at how he blocks, how he can get out in space, how he moves. You don't find guys like that 6'7", 280. I mean, legitimately could put on 20 pounds and be an offensive tackle. That's how good a
I
blocker.
when I
That's
saw his frame, he's got 34.5-inch arms. I was like, this guy would make more money playing tackle.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough at Georgia
Yeah,
too.
gained
They got
40 pounds.
the freshman Oscar Delp there at tight end. They got the Brock
Where's this
Bowers
dude
kid.
projected?
Late first,
What?
early second, maybe mid second, depending. There's good tight ends in this class, and you look at how we traded Johnu Smith. We have Hunter Henry there. I think it's his last year in his deal. I wouldn't be surprised if we went tight end somewhere early in this draft, two, three, 2, 3 rounds in.
Mm-hmm.
Just some of the guys,
Dude.
and then I mean, I could go more into the corners. I really like a lot of corners in this class, but I'll let someone else
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
a
I mean,
turn.
I'll just go quick. Yeah, Witherspoon Ryan has really talked him up to me a lot. I got to watch, some tape on him, and he seems like a star player. And when you're drafting at 14, if he slides down you and it's almost similar to a Sauce Gardner situation last year where he was projected super high, but cornerback generally doesn't go in the top 5 or 10 because there's been a lot of busts there. If he slipped into the teens and you have a chance at him, and you can just get a guy that's number one shutdown, that really shifts the defense like in all kinds of good ways. But like you said, we need a tackle. You guys are talking about a bunch of different tackles out there. I mean, I'm kind of fine with any of them. I don't know the best parts about each and every one of them. Some guys I do like. I do like Van Ness from what I've seen of his tape. Pretty impressive player from Iowa. Kind of fits a lot of stuff we're doing. We do need an outside backer, and another pass rusher never hurts. I'm trying to think of who
And
else.
he can play the run too. I mean, the size of him, and he's
Yeah,
pretty raw still. He's pretty raw. You look at he's really hasn't even got a chance to start for Iowa, but you look at his traits and stuff, and
he's
it's
a
not just a
big
pass rush.
dude.
It's not just a pass rushing edge. You could have a legitimate 3-4 end there. I think.
Also, I kind of like Quentin Johnson. I mean, TCU did pretty good. Had a really good season, and I thought he was really good when I looked at his tape. And then I know through the combine he kind of fell a little bit because he wasn't as fast as everyone thought, and some different things. I don't know whatever he tested out, but he was, I feel like, projected as a top guy coming out receiver wise. So I still like what I saw to him.
Hmm.
Another guy who's kind of more of a second rounder. I just think he's a Patriot. Like he's a lock for linebackers. That dude Jack Campbell from Iowa. If you've seen
I knew
him,
you were gonna go that way. I knew.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, I've talked to you about him before. I mean, he just looks like a all-pro linebacker in the making. He's a big dude. He's really good read and react. He's kind of an old school linebacker where he's bigger frame. He can almost be put at the end, but he's a middle backer, and he is probably gonna have his troubles in coverage, but his read and react skills just from the tape look awesome, and he's just looks like a freak dude. He's got the name, Jack Campbell's just a
Yeah. It's a good. Yeah.
linebacker's name. It's just like it's like, and he looks like Urlacher from his profile
He's
pic and
built like a
everything.
Patriot too. 6'5",
Yeah.
250. I mean, he looks like a big Patriot linebacker. Great in coverage. I think the biggest knock on Jack Campbell has been that he doesn't get after the quarterback. But you're drafted an off-ball linebacker in the second round. Um,
Yeah, and he's slower. Like he's a
We
bigger,
don't.
slower guy too. But
There's not a
what's going to
lot of
happen?
strict off ball linebackers that are blitzing a lot. I like what he does in coverage a lot. Johnston, Quentin Johnston, you touched on. Yeah, the talent's there, but then you watch the tape a little bit, and there's a lot of alligator arms there where like
Mm,
he
yep.
doesn't want to go over the middle. There was a lot of jump ball scenarios where like you would want the contested catch rate to be a lot higher for a guy like that. But when he catches the ball, for a guy that size, he can really move. So
And then
impressive
what
player.
happened to this dude Miles Murphy? He really has been falling, huh? Wasn't he like top 10 before the combine? Top 15?
10-20 range, I would say. I think he's still in that ballpark. I haven't seen too many
I'm just
people.
looking at a latest mock on I have that up on NFL.com and he's going at like 29, which seems low. Like I figured he was going
I think
much
that's
higher
an
than that.
outlying mock, though. I think he's generally been considered
All right, it just
anywhere
happens to
from
be the
like
one I'm looking at. Gotcha.
uh, he looks like a Philadelphia Eagle to me, like 10 to 20, 25 range. I think he
Mm-hmm.
would be in there. Um,
I've got a couple other deep guys, but Sean, who do you like? Who you
You guys touched on a bunch of them. I mean, Devin Witherspoon. We don't we don't need to belabor the point, but
we all love
he's
Witherspoon, I think.
we love him.
yeah,
Downhill
he's a
player,
lock.
plays with attitude. He's gonna give an identity to a defense.
Well,
Uh,
do you think Gonzalez? I mean, I've seen mostly Gonzalez going over him, but Witherspoon. There's a couple drafts that are outliers where Witherspoon is rated ahead of him. I mean, what do you guys think?
I have Gonzalez ahead of Witherspoon, not by too much, but I think Gonzalez has better coverage skills and plays through the receiver. Basically, he contacts the receiver. He's going to be a prime candidate for illegal contact. It's going to have a lot of coaching involved in that, but better size, speed type player, and I just think he's got better coverage ability. I
Gotcha.
freaking love Witherspoon. I think he's better in a cover two scheme where he's got safety help most of the time. Where I think Gonzalez is more scheme diverse.
hmm
That's the only
I,
reason.
I I definitely like Gonzalez. You look at the demeanor, the build. What is he? 6'2", 197 or something like that.
Yeah,
6'1",
yeah.
197. He's not even 21 years old. A lot of good projectables. 40 times 4.38. 97th percentile in the broad jump and the vertical. When you watch him play, though, silky smooth. Like everything looks to be in lockstep. Looks calm. Looks poised. Everything looks really good. The one thing that I think I rated Witherspoon ahead of Gonzalez on is reaction versus anticipation. Um, when I watch Witherspoon play, I see somebody who's a little bit ahead there. Like he understands what's happening, and it's impressive because Witherspoon was a 0-star recruit coming out. He was a track star, ran the relay. I think he wasn't even really recruited. Um, and Gonzalez is a transfer from Colorado, I believe, who followed his coach to Oregon. But I don't think you can go wrong with either of those guys.
Yeah. At wide receiver, you mentioned Zay Flowers. I really like Zay Flowers a lot. He moves to me. He moves like Antonio Brown. It's I don't know if that's a fair comparison. Similar size, Antonio Brown, similar to Tyreek Hill, insane contested catch ability for a guy that size. Uh,
Why
Mm-hmm.
was he at BC?
I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know why Zay Flowers wound up there. He doesn't have what I was going to say. He doesn't have that same contested catch ability, but he separates. He makes plays with the ball in his hands. He's going to be terrific. And then the other receiver, Jordan Addison, out of
Love
USC.
Jordan Addison. Yes.
I mean, and we say out of USC, but he played 2 years at Pitt and won the Bolitnikoff Award at Pitt. The only guy to do that besides Antonio Bryant and Larry Fitzgerald. And don't anybody sleep on Antonio Bryant in college. He was uncoverable. So at Pitt, he went where he was playing with Kenny Pickett, 1,600 yards in 14 games, 17 touchdowns, wins the Bolitnikoff Award as the best receiver in the nation, then transfers to USC after Pickett goes into the draft to go out there, play under Lincoln Riley with Caleb Williams at quarterback. Didn't
Mm-hmm.
have as good a season as you would have projected, 875 yards. Missed a couple of games because of injury that affected that. But on the field, I mean, he's got superstar potential. He looks a lot like Justin Jefferson to me. And again, these are like high level comps. I'm not saying he's going to reach that level. I'm just saying he's
He has
got the
that
highest
potential.
upside. He's got the highest upside, I think, at the receiver position.
They're all light, huh? They're all
They're all
light,
But
really small.
170.
that's the thing.
Yeah,
But the
Addison's
game is
173
see. We keep
But there's a
saying like
lot of depth there, right?
a
at
wide receiver.
receiver. There's 7 guys that are all going to be real good.
I don't know if it's as deep as last year's, but it's definitely like top 20. I would put it against last year's class, but the top 5 I wouldn't. You know, I think my highest got rated guy is Jackson Smith and Jigba. I
Same
think
He
he
is
might
your
have been.
highest rated.
Yeah, I think he would have been 4 in last year's class behind a couple guys.
behind his
But I
teammates.
yeah, right. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave.
Yeah,
I think that he got set back by that injury though, because everything he does is just like very natural. You create separation, good in short space, great hands. Just really understands the field for the position. If we took him at 14, I'd be perfectly happy with that. I don't. We had a lot of similar players here, Witherspoon. So I just want to go off the path a little bit. For the first round, Broderick Jones, if he's there at 14, I would be ecstatic with that.
I would be too. I mean, I think they just got to take a tackle regardless of there's going to be enough guys there. Because of
I
the quarterbacks, right? It really helped us out because 4 quarterbacks might get drafted within the top 10, top 15. I mean,
yeah,
that's 4 guys that are going to fall that we're going to have more of a choice with.
yeah, I agree. I agree.
You know,
That helps us at almost every position. That's a good thing about the Pats this year is I think
well, I guess we'll talk
we're
about
not
that.
we're not um, you know, we don't have to pick a certain position. There's many positions that we could get better at.
And we need.
Yeah, I mean safety, Brian Branch,
There's a
automatic.
lot of good safeties too, aren't there?
Yeah.
I feel like it.
Well,
No,
no, there's a handful. It's not
I feel like there's a
high.
handful that are pretty good.
For me,
There's
it's
no
Brian
high
Branch.
end talent.
Well, Brian Branch is that guy,
he's
but
the
he's
guy.
he's
Right.
more of a
Yeah, yeah,
jack of
yeah.
all trades. Like I think I don't even know how many tackles he missed. It was the lowest in the country of any player, regardless of position. Missed tackle percentage. They use him in the nickel role a lot, but I think what we're really missing on the Patriots roster is a deep safety, and there's not a lot of
Right.
like center fielder type cover 3, cover 1 um, safeties in this year's class.
Who's the dude
I
that's? Is it Brian Branch at 6'4"? He's just like an absolute
No,
frick.
No, he's small.
no.
It- Brian Branch. Brian Branch is a deep, is more of a deep cover 1, cover 3 type. The guy I like at safety is from Illinois, Sidney Brown. Built like a truck, hits like a truck, can play everywhere, super athletic. Um, that's a guy I'd really be interested to see. Very durable. But I don't see a lot of center fielder types, and that's kind of what's missing from that safety class. Um, I do think we're okay for safety this year, though, with all the guys on the
Yeah,
roster. The
Especially if we get a
re-sign.
cornerback.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that would help things out. Um, else, another you touched on a couple of my other favorites, but one that you didn't mention. So this tight end class is really good, and it's probably like 6 deep at the top. Lots of times we go into drafts and we're like, there's like 2 good tight ends. Maybe there's one great tight end, one good one, and then like a couple coin toss guys. I feel like there's 6 guys that are going to be pretty damn good. I really like Dalton Kincaid out of Oregon State,
Mm-hmm.
former basketball player, still really learning how to play football.
hmm
Super, super natural catching the ball, though. It looks effortless. He's got really good bursts. He's got great measurables, height, weight, speed. Produced out there. I think he's the top tight end for me. Obviously, like Darnell Washington's upside with that. He's the only high end, like true Y inline tight end capable guy.
right.
And he looks heavy footed on film, but there's 2 games that I saw him play that he just looked explosive. And I wonder if he was dealing with like nagging injuries for some of the other time.
Yeah, well, he had 70 catches and 8 touchdowns in the year, and I think he actually missed the last 3 games of the season. He's a 5-year player. I think he's 23 and a half years old. But you look at what he did on tape this past season, and he's probably got the best separation ability of all the tight ends in the class. Really smooth, natural hands, um, clean through his breaks. I like him. Large catch radius. I'm just worried about, you know, he hasn't had a lot of production until this past season. He's already 23 and a half. He's coming off an injury. It's like, I could definitely see him being a superstar, but like, I don't know. Am I willing to bet a first round pick on that? I think Michael Mayer is a really easily projectable first round. Like, you know what you're going to get. He's a
Yeah,
blocker.
a classic Notre
Yeah.
Dame tight end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would be happy with any of these guys. I'm nitpicking.
Yeah.
In
Dalton
the first
Kincaid,
round.
I misspoke. He's Utah, not Oregon State.
I mean, is
The
Mayer,
tight.
Kincaid, and Washington all possibly going in the first round? Is that how it's being
Possible.
talked
I
about?
don't.
It's possible. Musgrave's even possible. I mean,
Musgrave might go. Yeah, he's the Oregon State
there's
guy.
probably.
He's Mike
I
Gesicki to
don't.
me. That's what I see.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
don't. I don't see that 3 are going to go in the first round, but
No.
it's possible. I don't think it will be more than 3 though. I think that's
Yeah.
I'd be
Darnell
surprised. Has that
Washington.
ever happened?
I don't
Darnell
think
Washington.
Washington's going to go unless there's a. I don't know. I could see like the Steelers,
Bengals.
somebody
I
like
could see the
the.
Bengals.
Ooh, yeah,
Bengals at 29. Like, that's a great fit.
That'd be a
yeah.
nice pickup for them.
I don't know why I said Steelers, not the Steelers. He just feels like
What do you guys think
just
of
a
Broderick
strong player.
Jones? I watched a lot of tackle, and
Well, let's talk about the tackles. Yeah, who are you guys thinking are the best tackles here, or just offensive linemen?
so for me, it was Broderick Jones. Just projectable. His first year. I mean,
Alabama. Yeah.
he's no Georgia. He's got the least
Okay.
amount of experience of like anyone in this class at the particular position, but he's just got a really good feel. Picks up stunts and blitzes. I think he's the best athlete as far as tackles in the class. Um,
He's definitely the
quick,
best athlete. He's a
quick,
stud.
explosive. When he gets his leverage right, he doesn't get behind and lower his head and kind of lunge. I mean, that's coaching, though. Like a lot of the stuff that his weaknesses are is coaching. And Paris
Right.
Johnson,
He's.
to me,
I've
I
heard
watched them
that.
both on tape, and I've seen this like kind of unanimous. Paris Johnson's number one, Broderick Jones is number two. I like them both. They both move really well. Um, I just like the 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 thickness of Broderick Jones's lower half and the way he moves. You don't see very often. I could see him play for 10, 15 years, honestly.
Yeah,
Jones.
Jones. Jones is he's a stud athlete. I actually have Paris Johnson just a shade ahead of him, but obviously be stoked
I
if the
think
Patriots were able to land either one. It's right there.
it's
It's
right
right
there.
there.
What
And then
Skoronsky? He was rated above them before pre. I feel.
Scrunt. Well, until they
It's the
measured
arm.
his arms,
It's the
Is that
arms,
what it
dude.
was? He had
he's got
short arms.
32-inch arms. He's got guard size arms. Some
There's
people think it's
yeah.
surmountable, but I mean, I just think back to Joe Tooney. Joe Tooney was an absolute menace at left tackle at NC State. Drops to the third round, switches to guard because of his short arms, and now
Is that what
now he's
happened to
incredible.
him?
That's
I want to
exactly what
be.
happened.
I want to
Skoronski
be.
is he's really really good, powerful, so strong, great balance, technically sound. It's just sometimes you're limited physically.
All right. So who? So you guys won't both want. Well, who would you take if you had 14? Your pick at a tackle. Who are you going with?
I'd take Broderick Jones.
Yeah, I take Paris Johnson, but
Okay. So
there's no wrong pick. I don't think between those two.
Okay. Gotcha. They're both
Skaronski,
doable.
Skaronski, I love. I think he's the best offensive lineman in the draft.
Yeah,
I just don't have him as the best offensive tackle in the draft.
yeah.
For all his, you know, it's basically only one thing that's limiting him, and that's arm length. Because you look at the track record of guys at that position, and a lot of teams have thresholds. That's something that's really like been a big theme for the last few years is threshold, and really for a long time. Some
Hmm.
guys, some teams just won't take players with certain measurables that don't fit what they do, and what I think is his arms were ridiculously small though.
They're
So
32 inches, I believe.
for a
Pulling it
guy
up.
at offensive tackle,
Yeah.
it just needs to be longer. He's the best guard prospect that I've. Technically, he's got no issues whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know, his
Yeah.
technique is flawless. So
Yeah, he's fantastic. One of the other tackle that's probably going to go in the first round there, and there might be more than this, but Darnell Wright from Tennessee
Mm-hmm.
looks like he's going to go in the first round. He
you like him?
is. I don't really like. I see him on his toes way too much, and that scares me. But
Mm-hmm.
he is a people mover, and
He's a
so
big boy.
you know
Yeah.
whether or not he becomes like a Cam Robinson type, like they have
Mm-hmm.
down in Jacksonville, maybe needs some help in pass protection with speed rushers particularly. It's just that
Mm-hmm.
that coaching of keeping him off his toes is going to be huge. But I have him
He's
in the late
another one.
first.
He's another one. He's been pumped up so high because he's such a mauler. To me, there's three things here. I hate. I don't really. I don't hate. He's got 9-inch hands. That's really bad. Like ninth percentile hands. 33 and three quarters. He's inch arms. He's 39th percentile for arms. He's had no success playing at left tackle whatsoever. He was awful until this year. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but you put him at right tackle, he's an absolute mauler. So there's three things there. It's like, all right, until this year, you didn't do anything really. Um, this was his breakout year. He was a high recruit coming out too. And then those measurables, I just see him as a right tackle mauler. Trent Brown, feel like we already have that on the roster type. Whereas, like, I look at a guy like Anton Harrison with really good feet that can move, and he's still got room to grow into his frame at left tackle. That to me is a much more intriguing pick, a guy with a little bit higher upside that I would want on my team.
How is the depth at offensive tackle this year? Do you guys see a lot of deep players where we can find a diamond in the rough in fourth, fifth round, or
No,
No, you
I
you
don't
don't
see
get
that.
tackles that late at a good
Mm-mm.
frequency.
No, there's one guy that I think drops, and he's a terrific athlete, and that's Blake Freeland from BYU.
BYU? Yep,
Yeah, just crazy testing numbers.
huge, 6'8".
6'8". The testing numbers are off the charts. I see right tackles more than anything in this draft. Swing tackles, guys that could bump in the guard. But as far as like true big, long armed, big hands, wingspan kind of guys, Blake Freeland jumps off the page to me as far as like guys you can get later. Um,
Mm-hmm.
checks all the boxes in the movement department. He moves like a tight end, explosive out of his stance. Um,
What about the
possibly the
other Ohio State tackle, Dewan Johnson or
A
Dewan
lot.
Jones?
Some people like him more than Paris Johnson.
So
he's
what
a
So
happened?
beast,
I mean,
absolute monster.
he's a good player too.
6'8", 374. He's projected. I don't know,
Right tackle, just right
second,
tackle all
third
day.
round, third
I want
roundish.
a left tackle, man. You know
I mean, I'll
that
take anything at this point. We need a position where we have we pick someone at 14 and they are dominant. They are
I
top
like Dewan
three,
Jones.
and we need that so bad.
I like Dewan Jones. Like if he can see what's in front of him, if he gets his hands on anyone, the play's over.
Yeah,
He's that kind of
exactly.
he's that kind of guy. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
so, I like him at right tackle. You can see what's coming at you. You know what I mean? Like he's a freak.
Yeah,
As far as far as
375 pounds. Probably doesn't need to be quite that big.
no, not in today's NFL. It's not really necessary. But Jesus,
Yeah,
an
not
animal,
bad.
dude.
So the
Um,
Patriots, we've mentioned a couple times, they got the 14th overall pick. Also in the second round, 46th overall. Still a really nice pick. You're gonna get somebody really good. Have a good group of players to choose from there. Third rounder from Carolina at 76, and then three different fourth round picks, one of which is a compensatory pick. So if we just want to focus on rounds 1 to 3, and we know we've talked before about the different team needs. JJ, where should we go in round one? What are the 1 to 2 positions you want to see in round one? And then where do we backfill rounds 2 and 3?
yeah, I think just based on, I mean, unless anybody falls, if there's some ridiculous I don't know what is it. You got someone like Will Anderson or someone falls like that. You'd have to rethink things, but I think cornerback and tackle are the most likely for the highest talent to still be available. Like what you're going to get at 14. It seems like those two positions. Hopefully, Weatherspoon falls or you have your pick at tackle there. I mean, receiver would be nice. I don't think we need receiver as much as everyone says we do. I still think it's a need. But if you get a cornerback, that opens things up at safety for you. If you get a tackle, I mean, clearly last year, one of our biggest problems was offensive line all over the place outside of basically Owenu. So if we could go big there, I'd even take two tackles in the first 3 rounds. I'd take a, first round tackle and a third round tackle. I'd be fine with that. I think in the second round, obviously, depending on what you get in the first round, I wouldn't mind seeing front seven guy, whether it's another D tackle, middle linebacker, off ball linebacker, something like that would be nice. Receiver there. So, yeah, tackle, receiver, tackle, cornerback one, and then to fill out the last couple round or the second and third round, receiver, front seven, someone in the middle in the front seven. I mean, they need a linebacker. Our linebackers are god awful. Like they're bad. They're really bad going into the season. I can't remember going into last year it was the same guys, but we kind of didn't know what we had. This year, we know who those guys are, who we re-signed, who none of them really did much last year. So that's what I'm going with.
So in my mind, there's three major needs in this team, and I think lucky for us, they're all premium positions, and they're all positions that are kind of a strength of this class, depending on how you view them in the round they're projected. Offensive tackle, if you go first round, you have a stud at 14. Wide receiver is fairly deep. Cornerback is extremely deep. So even if Devon Witherspoon's there and you decide to pass on him, um, you could get some really good players later. Jacorian Bennett, Riley Moss, Juju Brents. There's a bunch of guys later. Cam Smith, Keely Ringo might drop. So there's a lot of guys. Darius, I mean, I can go on and on about the corners
What would
in
you
this
do
class.
if you had your pick?
It depends. It depends on who's there. I mean,
The
so if
board
I'm
fell
picking,
the way you want.
all right. So if the board's falling the way I think it's going to be, and especially with the Jets moving out of 13 and into 15, because I was sure they were going to take a tackle if they stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
With them moving behind us, I think that gives us a better chance to get Broderick Jones or Paris Johnson. If they're both gone, I look at who's there. If it's Devin Witherspoon and Christian Gonzalez still there, I take one of them. If they're both gone, I'm looking to see if Jackson Smith and Jigba's still there. And if he's, I don't think all those players will be
No
gone.
way, all those. That's not possible.
But I mean,
but you'd go tackle first, so you're on board with.
I would go tackle, then corner, and if Jackson Smith and Jigba's still there at 14, I'd probably do that. To be honest with you, and honestly, like, what's their level of confidence with Mac Jones? If Anthony Richardson's still there at 14, and all those guys I just named are gone, it's an interesting proposition because
You're
that guy, you can redshirt him a year.
Going on.
Dude,
I think it's crazy.
I think it's crazy too, but that's one of those players that can change the course of your franchise. Like,
right.
You don't really know what you have or you don't have, but you know you have a phenomenal athlete. Like, I personally wouldn't do it. I think it's a huge gamble, but
Well, and I could see too that someone
it's a
there
little interesting. You have to admit it's interesting, right?
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's something worth talking about. I think if you go that way, you're giving up on Mac, and it's showing that you just threw away that pick 2 years into it. Like you're not coming back from that. You don't.
Yeah.
So
I think it's also interesting. I mean, you go
admitting you screwed up royally with Mac Jones.
And let's say none of those.
The guy was the rookie of the year offensively or close to it. Now, what, a year later, you're already getting another guy. You're back.
Well,
in
this
there,
is the
so
season.
I'd rather build a team, but no, of course. I could also see if one of those quarterbacks do drop and we're sitting there at 14 that someone trades us for them because they want to get there as well.
I like to see that haul. I want a haul
You know,
to move that pick.
it could be he could get something, or even just a couple spots and get a second or third rounder out of it.
Tight end's
Something like a
interesting.
I think that's a little
tight ends.
early.
I think
I
it's
think
early.
that
If hopefully
I
he
think
gets out late.
there's going to be a good tight end available at 46. Even if they got to do the old 2-pick trade up like they did for Gronk
Yeah.
in the second round,
What
I
about
could see that.
I mean, I'm just going off, just throwing it out there. Not that I would do it. Bijan Robinson's interesting at 14, and I know you have
Yeah.
Ramondre, but uh, Bijan's a little bit different now. Like we're talking about a guy that's, I think I have number 4, 3 or 4 on my big board.
Yeah, everyone loves this dude.
You know, you get this guy, and he breaks tackles for fun. I've never seen anyone with like the broken tackles. I've never seen anything like it. You know, he's a
he
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 looks like an
looks really
Adrian
good.
Peterson type.
I don't see the wow plays from Bijan. I don't see those crazy like Adrian Peterson would have those 60-yard runs where he stiff
Hmm.
armed 4 different people. I
Yeah.
don't see those, but he's a super solid. He's going to be a upper half, up maybe top 10 running back as soon as he walks into the NFL.
18 100-yard rushing games, 104 missed tackles forced in 2022.
Yeah,
That's like,
he's good.
what are
His
we
his
doing?
lateral movement is out of this world. He moves side to side without like he'll go from a full speed sprint to hitting the juke button in Madden side to side without losing any speed afterwards. Receives
Well,
the
there's a
ball tremendously, and there's something to be said about that Ricky Williams look, that burnt orange running back who's just like perfectly built in that Texas uniform. Can't beat it.
Just shredded.
well
This
the
dude.
Yeah.
running back position is. I mean, it's I don't know if it's that deep, but it always falls. So I
No,
feel like
there's plenty of good running backs,
third
but
round
this
guys
guy's
take the
different.
spot. I know he's that talent. But Granny, who are you liking? What are you thinking? First round.
Well, while we're talking
First
about
few
running
rounds.
backs, I think Jameer Gibbs, running back out of Alabama, burner, would be a better complement to Ramondre. Also
I agree.
has fantastic receiving ability. He spent some time in the slot at Alabama, so I think in terms of looking at Ramondre still on the roster and then adding another running back, I think that's just a better mix. But for what I want to draft, you guys nailed it. I think tackle is number one. Corner would be great. Just I don't think the need at corner is as immediate.
No,
Where
it's not.
you at the Patriots roster, you can name 3 cornerbacks right now where it's like we're probably like good to start.
Yeah.
Jack Jones, Marcus Jones, Jonathan Jones. You put all 3 of those guys out there, and you're like you're feeling pretty good. That being said, if you could add one of these top level talents, and it seems like where we're positioned in the round, that's going to make a lot of sense. Tackle would be perfect if we can get one of the premier tackles. Second round, I mentioned tight end. I'd love to get a tight end there. If only those like pure receiving Mike Gesicki type tight ends are there, then I would love to pick a wide receiver.
Hmm.
And I mean, it's always good to add defensive line depth in the third round, that type of time. Really, the third and fourth round, you're taking a swing.
Oh
Those
yeah.
those guys are not necessarily going to work out. So take a big old swing in the third, and then again with those 3 fourth round picks. I expect them to move a lot. We talked before. There's like 77 players under contract for the Patriots. They got 11 draft picks. That's going to take them right up against that 90-man roster. And then you obviously want to sign undrafted free agents, which they've been spending more and more money every year, it seems like, on undrafted free agents to secure some of those high profile guys. So I expect a good amount of movement on the board here.
So I just want to mention 2 things real quick. We mentioned some of these outliers from a weight perspective, particularly at cornerback and wide receiver. So this is the way it's going, I think. Uh, you're getting a lot of these guys sub 180, 175. You look at Jack Jones last year. I think we drafted him. He was 171 when we drafted him.
Marcus Jones,
Um, Jack. Jack was
Jack
very light,
Jones from
very
Arizona
light.
State.
Arizona State, yep.
What?
Very
He
light. When
didn't
we
play
draft
that way.
5'11", 171.
Whoa, he did not play like that.
Yep. So this is the way the league's going, man. It's getting light. You look at guys like Emmanuel Forbes, which who when I saw what he weighed at the combine, I go, he's undraftable. But then I started looking around. Devonta Smith, some of these guys in the league now, the guys he's going to be guarding are like 170, 160. Emmanuel Forbes is 166 at the combine. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like, can you play in the NFL? If you get hit by
Crazy.
someone 250, it's crazy. This is the way the league's going. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just juxtapositions of you know outside guys versus inside guys. Anyway, it's I've never seen it to this degree, honestly. Like when we get into this wide receiver class, I've never seen so many guys sub 180.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
it
I haven't either.
it's it's scary.
And
You know, it's like
it used to be those were like the second, third round receivers. We're like, okay, let's take a
Not the
shot on
top
D.D.
guys.
Westbrook in the third round, who was really good at Oklahoma, but he's 170 pounds.
yes, and even Devon Witherspoon, 1 5 11 181, 6 feet 181. Like he's light. A lot of these guys are light, man. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
we've been talking about corner a little bit. I think I like, and I'm not exaggerating. I like 19 corners. I'm not exaggerating. Like 19. I ranked like
In
30
this draft,
something quarterbacks. Cornerbacks, dude. There's like 19 that can legitimately play. There's a white cornerback from Iowa, Riley Moss, who can play.
wow.
He would be
Uh,
from Iowa.
he's like dude. He's gonna get the Jason Sehorn. Poor
I
guy.
think didn't wasn't there a white cornerback in the NFL last year, and it was the first one since Jason Sehorn had been like 20 years.
I don't know. Maybe,
I think there
dude.
was. I think
It's
there
bizarre.
was. They're unicorns.
Dude, there's so many corners in this draft. It's crazy. So I could see like if you can't get, you know, a
One of the top
Witherspoon
guys, yeah.
or Gonzalez. I don't really have Porter that high, but I could see that too.
Yeah.
Deontay Banks is a little bit of a projection. Um, I could wait. I could wait fourth, fifth round. There's just so many guys. I think I had 9 or 10, probably more than that in my top 100.
Bam. Yeah. Do the old double dip in the fourth round.
I know.
Yeah.
If you look at our draft history, and it just always makes me think we always do good in the third and fourth round. Like the last 3 years, we've hit on somebody on the third and fourth round. We've
Yeah.
also had our misses there, sure, but I feel like we
You,
usually do pretty good there
So
yeah.
and get
there's a
somebody.
name that I'm just thinking. You say that there's a name that's jumping out to me. He's coming off an injury. Garrett Williams from Syracuse, cornerback. Um, Lockdown tape got hurt this year,
Gotcha.
and
5'10", 192,
yeah,
decent size.
good size. He could really play. Another one that's flying, who's like flying upwards, is the kid from Michigan, DJ Turner. I don't have his size right in front of me, but he's got the best
I got
measurables.
5'11", 178.
Yeah, look out! Look at the speed. I've never seen the testing on him. I think he was on Feldman's freaks list as maybe the number
Feldman's
one guy
freaks.
on. Yeah, maybe the number one guy on that list. I think I have him CB 13 or something like that, but he could be higher. A lot of good nickel safe, not a lot of good nickel corners in this draft too. Little guys, Travius Hodges Tomlinson, who's now going by Travius Tomlinson, Clark Phillips, just small, straight up slot cover corners that are going to be matching, and like guys you would have previously discounted because they're small.
mm-hmm.
Now you
Mm-hmm.
can be like, okay, we can we could take a look at you. You know.
Yeah. League shifting that way.
Hmm.
You guys ready to do
Well,
a mock draft?
one second.
I
I got
am.
one more. The safety I was talking about that was 6'4", that seems pretty good, is J.L. Skinner. He's
Okay,
big boy
Boise
from
State.
Boise.
Boise,
Yeah,
yeah.
it looks like a second round pick, which seems pretty good. And I don't know about you guys if you have any late round guys who you think would be pretty good. I looked at receiver, um, Rasher Rice and A.T. Perry, two guys kind of later, who I don't know, basically pretty good tape. Pretty
I don't
good
know how
tape, I
late
gotta
they'll
say.
go. I don't know how late they'll
Well,
go.
like third round, second, maybe third round,
Oh, okay.
right? That's what
So
I'm talking about. Yeah, nothing like not like fifth. Like I don't know anyone that far, but A.T. Perry from Wake Forest. I just think of all the people they've churned out from Wake Forest. Guy's 6'4", 200. Looked like he
I
had
like
good tape. Caught with his hands.
I like Michael Wilson. I don't. I if he goes in the third round, I'd be happy with that. Have you guys watched any tape? Michael Wilson, wide receiver from Stanford,
No.
I haven't.
best um, release package in this class by a mile. Understands what he's doing at all times. Big, strong kid.
Hmm.
The problem with him is gets injured a lot. I
He
mean,
looks like he's really low, huh?
he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be. If he was healthy, he'd be first or second round pick.
Oh
Like
wow.
this kid can absolutely play. He's been limited by injuries the last few years. Um, Marvin Mims, I think, is underrated from Oklahoma.
Yep.
Um,
I
Tyler
got the
Scott,
Tyler
what, go
Scott,
ahead.
Cincinnati. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he could
I thought
fly.
I looked at tape on Rasher Rice. He looked just like a solid over the middle guy, which was nice. 6'1", 204. I don't
Hmm.
know his measurables in the combine, but his tape is pretty good. He makes plays, makes some good plays over the
Yeah,
middle.
Rasheed Rice is a nice player, man. Let's see, 96 catches, 1,355 yards this past season, 10 touchdowns.
It's
Uh,
pretty good.
the problem with him is he plays, I think, bigger than what he um, measured at. He plays like he's 6'2". He measures 6 feet at the Senior Bowl. Uh, just 2 inches shorter than he was listed at SMU.
Classic.
Um, but he's a high catch point, contested catch guy. I like it, man. The vert, dude. 41 inches,
That's always
96,
good. That's what I mean.
96
Like that
percentile. Yeah,
just kind of seems like one of those tough guys that athletic freaks. Not the biggest, but definitely not small. So just like an Anquan Bolden. I know Bolden was
he'll go
six
get it,
two,
man.
but
He'll go get it, and he wants it too. You could tell, like the way he plays is he's a tenacious kid, man. So I was talking about DJ Turner just now. I just wanted to bring up some of these measurables. It says, dude, this is silly. The 40, 4.26 40,
yeah,
99th percentile. The 10-yard split, 1.47, 96th percentile. The broad jump, 131 inches, 94th percentile. 5'11", 178, 22 years old. I mean, 6'2", 3 cone.
I don't think I've
who
ever
is this
heard of
again?
one like that.
Who'd you say this
6'2",
was?
DJ Turner, cornerback from Michigan.
Oh, the
Uh,
corner. Okay.
6'2", 3 cone, dude.
I've never heard of
Didn't.
that.
Yeah, I mean, just special. You know, if he's there in late second, early third,
Go
I'm
get them.
taking a fucking go get him, dude. Like this kid, Jesus.
Wow, that's wild.
Pretty good. I got one more late round, probably like a third rounder. Is D tackle from Baylor, Psyche Ika.
Yeah, Ika.
You
It's a
listen, he
big.
was like really highly projected. First rounder. It seemed like coming out right after the season ended, and then didn't do much. I know he didn't bench. He didn't do a few of the combine tests, but has kind of fallen since then. He's 6'3", 335, just a big old
He's a big old boy. Yeah.
Samoan or Pacific West, Southwest, Western Islander who just they're unbelievable at football. It seems like so.
Why are they like that, dude? Like,
I don't know.
It's just powerful people.
They're just strong guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wicked
dude,
athletic.
I got another fun one. Defensive tackle Mazzie Smith, who's probably going to be late first round, just the way that position's valued.
Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah, benched 325, not 225, 325, 22 times.
Jesus Christ.
Close grip benched 550 pounds. Um, 9 foot 4.5 inches at that size. Broad jump.
Oh wow.
6'9", 5'3" cone. He's dude, 6'9", 5'3" cone. He's 340 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, I see. I see. What 6'3"? Is that what you have him listed at, or no?
Yeah, I got 6'3",
6'3".
320.
That's what I'm seeing.
I got him at 6'3", 337.
Okay,
I
so there's a
mean,
little discrepancy there. That happens.
dude, the cone. Come on, dude. 6'9", 5'3" cone. Like
Pretty fucking crazy.
kids are scary, man. Did you see the kid from Pittsburgh too, Kalijah Cansey? Fastest 40 time for a defensive
No.
tackle since 2003, I believe.
The
Just
guy
getting
from
that,
Pitt.
yeah, getting that
Well, he's
arrow.
not that big. 281,
Do you see his
290.
pass rush moves though?
What is he? He's like, is he play D tackle? Or is he play D? He plays D
Plays D
tackle, right?
tackle, 4-3 D tackle. Yeah, he's just like
John Randall size.
Yeah,
John
he is.
Randall, Aaron
Bring him
Donald.
in.
Like he's got that. He's getting the Aaron Donald comps. Poor kid. That's not fair.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah,
fair.
But you can see the similarities.
Grant, you got any late rounders you like? That you can
No,
think of?
man. You guys.
No one from Auburn this year that you're like
I
can't
mean,
wait to get drafted.
I
No,
always
Bigsby.
liked Tank Bigsby was a running back from Auburn, had an exceptional freshman season and hasn't been able to duplicate it since then. But good size, powerful runner, runs through contact.
I still like Bigsby.
I like I like him. I think he's probably a 5th round pick, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
Any linebackers that you think you could get late?
Yeah, I like Dorian Williams from Tulane. The coverage skills. I like coverage. If I'm gonna go off ball linebacker, I need someone who can cover now. And I'm looking at
Yeah, pretty
Dorian
much.
Williams from Tulane. Um, he's really
Wasn't
good in that aspect. Go ahead.
Dorian Williams? Yep. What about
Mhm.
Noah Sewell? Wasn't he projected high at one point?
He doesn't move laterally nearly as well.
Because I
I
remember
feel like
seeing his name high up there. Now I'm looking and
yeah,
it's like way down there.
he's a run stuffing block shedder. Really, is what I kind of viewed him as. Um, Downhill guy, but
Hmm.
I just can't trust him on third down. You know what I mean? Like if I'm drafting a guy first, second round, you got to play 3 downs. You know, I don't think he's going to go second round though. I think he's probably a little bit later.
Gotcha.
Damn. All right. Should we do the mock draft?
Yeah, what happened last year? Because I got fucked. I feel like I think
You think you got screwed because you didn't get to pick the Patriots. That's the only reason you were jaded.
I think I'm going to think that until I get the Patriots.
Well, good luck.
Well, isn't
didn't
it
get-
just your
random?
lucky day?
Come on.
Oh yeah, it is. So I did a random generator, and it put
You gotta be kidding me.
in order JJ, Ryan, Sean, and then we
Oh,
repeat that order.
First round.
Do I get 14?
You get the first overall pick, and
That
guess who's
sucks.
picking 14th? That would be Ryan.
You
There you
suck.
go.
There you go.
It's
Now
your
I'm
lucky day.
I'll take it, dude. I will
Yeah.
take
All
it.
right, so
So
oh,
I'll
God.
record who gets picked, so we don't double pick anybody, and
Okay.
then yeah, we'll just go one
have
by
to keep
one.
this for next year too, so we can go.
Oh.
We should go over it. That would be fun if we went over like a draft first
Yeah,
round
we should.
mock
We should do,
recap.
Oh yeah,
be like, hey, you fucking picked this guy. He didn't even play.
yeah. I get it saved on Google. This
Okay,
this
good.
shit lasts forever. You'll never run
Can I
out of
just say
space.
real quick before we can get people not picking Will Anderson is fucking ridiculous, dude. How can you have better? All right, first of all, I just want to say this. He's my favorite player in the class.
Okay.
I've been preaching Will Anderson for 3 years now. He's got elite talent on his team, and all he does is put up like historic fucking pressure numbers. He's getting double teamed all year. He's got 10 sacks and people are down on him. I'm like, dude, he's got more fucking sacks than anyone. He's everywhere. The kid's
Sean,
fucking
do you have anything
ridiculous.
to say about that?
I'm one of those people that's a little lower. I don't see the ceiling as high as the kid from Texas Tech.
Oh, you're out
That's
of your mind. You're out of
Tyree
your mind.
Wilson. Tyree Wilson's got incredible size and really good
You
burst.
think he's the
Still
best one
figuring it out.
over?
I got him over Will Anderson.
What does production mean?
What about
Does production
Carter?
mean nothing?
Carter's a D tackle. Is that the
Production
difference?
means a lot. It does mean a lot, but there's a lot of Vic Beasleys out there who had insane production in college and then didn't have a well-rounded game. I think basically I think Will Anderson is less Khalil Mack and more like or what did I say? I said he's less TJ Watt, more Bud Dupree.
Ooh.
Oof,
Yeah.
oof. I don't see it. No.
TJ Watt is a
What are you
defensive
gonna
player
do?
of the year. I don't think Will Anderson's a defensive player of the year. Bud Dupree's had many big contracts and has had double-digit sacks and all that. I just think
I
he's
don't see how
closer to
you
that.
can look at a kid with just blue chip talent around him and he just stands out like he's fucking like they don't even they're not even on the field and he's fucking getting 100 something pressures over 3 years. It's like 50 more than the next best guy, and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I get
we
I
might see how this plays out in the top
Let's
five of the
see how
draft right
this
here.
plays out. Yep,
go ahead,
here we
Dave.
go.
All right. So are we
All right,
doing
so I'm
this
first.
based on who you think they will draft or who you think they should draft?
Who do you think they should draft?
What the
Should
hell's the
draft.
difference? Who
What?
cares?
Well, some teams are dumb, and you might be like, oh, the Arizona Cardinals are going to pick another quarterback because
So
they're
we're not
dumb.
trying to save anyone for the Patriots. We're trying to
We're
really
trying
do
to
what's
Yeah, no, I think I don't know, realistic.
put
put your
yourself,
GM
Realistic.
hat. Yeah,
yeah,
GM
put your
hat on.
GM hat on and
Right,
make the
right.
right pick for your team. And don't do the Steve Keim thing where you go, well, he would have been better for our Nick Bosa would have been better for our team, but Kyler Murray got me paid. Did you
Right,
hear that?
All
exactly.
right, yeah.
Ridiculous.
No, I
What
did
a
not hear that.
self-serving cover your ass guy. It's not what's best for the organization. It's what's best for my pocketbook. A
Literally.
dick. Okay.
Alrighty.
On the
So,
clock, Carolina Panthers, number 1 overall pick. GM James is making the selection.
well, I mean, they traded up to get here. They traded a lot to get here, which would think they have somebody in mind, unlike what the Niners did 2 years ago with taking a quarterback when they traded up to number 3 and just kind of took who was left. So, I don't really, I don't know enough about this stuff. I don't really agree with it, but you guys have them both ranked number 1. Everyone's got them ranked number 1. I think I have to go with Bryce Young. I feel like that, right? They had to trade up for him. I
Yeah,
don't think they traded up for C.J. Stroud. I feel like they could have waited that one
I
out
think
and
no one's
done
going to
it.
give you shit for picking Bryce Young.
Or
exactly.
I think you'd get shit if you picked anyone but Bryce Young because he's going number 1, right? Is that what's
I wouldn't give
happening?
you shit if I wouldn't give you shit if you pick Stroud. I wouldn't give a fuck.
No?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I just think he seems like the clear cut number 1 at this point, even for his size. So, Carolina Panthers, we take Bryce Young.
Okay.
There we go. Number
John
2,
Robert.
Houston Texans. This is no Ryan's on the clock for this one.
Am I on the clock?
Yeah, the Houston
Ryan's
Texans.
on.
Nick Caserio, potential job on the line. Who knows what's going on at quarterback? Do you believe in any of the quarterbacks? Do you want to take a blue chip player on the defensive side?
Yeah, it's fascinating because the coach is so defensive minded now too, and like maybe he wants to build an elite defense. But
Maybe.
I think you got this number 2 pick. You're not sold on Davis Mills. You go out, you get C.J. Stroud, and you build your franchise around him. And
You
you
get
get
a
another pick,
quarterback.
and you got another pick at 12. Like you're
That's
okay.
true. CJ Stroud, he's going to be the first Ohio State quarterback to be great at the next level. Granted, Justin Fields, we don't know the end point for him yet.
I like C.J. Stroud. Like I had problems with him during the season. Some of the games I watched him, I thought he was pretty inconsistent. I'm like, this is the guy, and he's throwing to these fucking like ridiculous players. So it makes him look a lot better. But I
Yeah,
do like his accuracy.
that receiver room is just straight all pros. Marvin Harrison Jr. might be a top 5 pick next year.
He's the best of the last 5-10 years by
Yeah,
far.
right. And then the other thing about CJ Stroud, his Georgia film in the playoff against Georgia, against a team littered with insane athletes on the defensive side that shut down everybody in the SEC. He looked
Destroyed him.
incredible. He looked
Mm-hmm.
so good. It was
He
probably the
looked
best
great.
game he ever played.
I was down on him until that Georgia game. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, okay, you know.
Yeah, phenomenal arm talent. Okay, next one. Arizona Cardinals.
Hang on.
That's crazy that
You
they
took
have
Stroud.
the number 3 pick.
They
What
got
are
the
you
number
Yeah,
talking
but
3
I
about? Not
pick.
but
gonna
I
get.
have the Falcons, don't I?
What does that have to
Oh
do with
no.
anything?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
No, you have a trade. You're looking at a mock. That's what I got confused
I'm
too.
the Falcons, and I'm placing a call.
Oh. You are the Falcons.
Uh,
No, we're not doing trades.
all right, fine.
Trades are
No,
fun though.
But but you can mark that, Sean. You can mark that down that Ryan wanted a Falcons trade up, just for the hell of it,
Falcons
just to
trade.
show that give
Okay.
you props if it
I'll
happens.
I'll do
The
my
call
pick.
was placed. Whether you picked up the call or
Yeah.
not, I
I'll
placed
I'll
the
do,
call.
I'll do my pick, and then after that, you tell me who you wanted to trade up for.
Okay.
Okay. Arizona Cardinals. We don't really have good players. We got a brand new coach, Monty Austin Fort, former
It's crazy
Patriots
they're
exec,
number 3.
just took over the GM spot. Who knows what's going on at quarterback? What we can actually expect to get out of Kyler Murray. Given all of that, you just got to take the best player available. Got to do it. And I'm backsliding here. Kyler Murray wants Paris Johnson. And have you seen Kyler Murray's previous requests? He wanted Tristan Wirfs and he wanted Creed Humphrey. Both guys are all pros. So you know what? I'm taking Paris Johnson.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
Left
tackle
tackle.
that quick. Okay, maybe you're right.
You
All
could have
right, all
got him
right.
at 8, and my phone call was in.
who
You
who
ignored
who are
my
the
phone
Falcons
call.
trading up for?
We're trading up for Anthony Richardson, dude.
Dude,
Wow.
wow. Well,
Okay,
we'll
all
see what
right.
happens as we get closer to 8.
All right, so James,
Indianapolis
number
Colts. Yeah.
4th pick. Their team is in shambles right now. They have a great running back. Their offensive line slipped. Their defense is terrible. They have no quarterback. They don't have any receivers really anymore.
Oh, they got Pittman.
Yeah, Pittman's good.
That's it. But he's just whatever. I mean, do we take a quarterback? I don't like Anthony Richardson, but
There's no way you don't take a quarterback.
Right,
They've
they
been
have
searching for a quarterback. And what's his face? Jim Irsay, the owner, he might have hired whoever their coach is with this explicit instruction that we're drafting a quarterback.
Didn't he say something about a college quarterback or no?
He said like we could take a quarterback at 4, or we could trade up to 2 and take a quarterback, or we could trade down to 8 and take a quarterback. It was something like that.
All right, so he's taking a quarterback. I guess I'm going Anthony Richardson, number 4.
Sorry, Atlanta.
Hey.
Bringing him in. Should have traded. Should have offered more.
All right, so I'm Seattle here.
Seattle, the Russell Wilson pick.
Your
What are they
boy's
going to
still on
do?
the table.
I feel like they're okay at edge.
They got that rookie that was playing exceptional last year. I can't remember his name.
I think Jalen Carter's the guy here. Even though he's got problems off the field, I hate Will Anderson still being there at 6. I think Seattle would take Jalen Carter here if this in this scenario.
That's exactly what I hope happens. Jalen Carter, potentially the most talented defensive player in this draft. Some off the field question marks. Seattle is a long ass way from Georgia, so he's not going to be around any of the people that might have been affecting some of those decisions. And Pete Carroll has a history of taking some malcontents and making them really good football players.
He does. Yep.
Okay. Detroit Lions.
Was that official, Jalen Carter?
Jalen Carter. The card has been submitted.
Detroit.
Oh boy. Detroit. What do you do? I think, they took a swing on Jeff Okudah, got him out of the building. I think they try to backfill that role. I think they're going Christian Gonzalez here.
Whoa.
They've been signing guys in free agency too, though.
They did sign a couple guys. I'm sticking with it.
Gonzalez.
Christian Gonzalez. There goes one of the top cornerbacks.
All righty.
Am I here?
The Raiders. JJ.
What's their DN situation? They've got what's his name on one side?
They got Crosby and Chan Jones.
They got Chandler Jones. That's right.
He's long in the tooth.
He's long in the tooth. Yeah, he is long.
I cannot believe this. Will Anderson's dropping like this, but you can't take him.
Why can't you take him?
Oh, you could. Go ahead and take him. See if I care.
I mean, they have a terrible offensive line, don't they?
They do.
Their offensive line's awful. I mean, I don't want to do it, but I think they're going to have to do it. I mean, they can't. They need an offensive tackle. They have none, so I'm going to take Broderick Jones.
Who's the quarterback?
Garoppolo,
Oh
Yeah.
Jimmy G. I mean, they could definitely take a quarterback, but I'm going to go tackle. I mean, you need to build around your quarterback. Josh McDaniels believes in offense. He needs an offensive line because last year they didn't have one. They have receivers. They have a good running back. Broderick Jones is off the table.
Fuck you guys.
Damn.
This is fucking bullshit.
2 tackles gone.
Ugh.
All right, the Falcons are up. No. Yeah, you're up
Falcons.
with Falcons. Yep.
Falcons are up. Still one of the top quarterbacks on the board.
All right, just give him Levis.
You didn't have to.
Kind of had to. Give him
All right,
Levis.
Will Levis.
Will Levis. There he goes. 4
Bears getting
quarterbacks
hooked
in the
up.
top 10. Is this
Hook 'em up.
2011 all over again with the Christian Ponder and the Blaine Gabberts? Jake Locker?
Yes, it is.
Who's to say?
I don't see Levis dropping that far, though, to be honest.
You think he's going higher than that?
I think he's going to the Colts. I think that
think
Colts
he's
pick,
going-
you took Anthony Richardson. I think that's Levis.
Okay.
And I think someone
see
moves
that.
up to
That was
take
on this
Richardson.
projection I'm looking at.
I think someone moves up for Richardson, too.
Well, let's
But-
hope
Yeah.
so. So Broderick Jones is still on the goddamn table.
Yeah. Fuck.
Damn. Wow. Chicago Bears.
Things are getting heated by pick
Yeah.
9.
Yeah. Chicago Bears are picking. They got this pick from Carolina. I just got to take. I think they need help all over the place, but we're going to start on defense and we're going to try to get an edge presence and go Tyree Wilson.
Tyree. Brian's gonna have a heart attack over there. I hate this that I'm Philadelphia because I hate the Eagles. And
Is this a fucking joke? Dude, what do you have to do to get drafted number 1?
so the Eagles need a defensive tackle.
Don't look at the needs. The PFF needs suck.
I'm just thinking, didn't they need a DN, don't they? I mean, you can't. I'm gonna get Will Anderson can't drop anymore. That's
God,
an
that would-
absolute steal. Philly's the type of team that I mean, if
They
there's
love
a really good
defensive
defense,
linemen. They love defensive linemen.
linemen. They always
Yeah.
draft
That's
them high, and
ridiculous.
if they
That's
get him,
ridiculous.
he's gonna be disgusting there with all those other players. So yeah, sorry. Will
It's
Anderson,
locked in.
Philly.
Yeah,
Ouch.
you know what?
That might be worst case scenario right there.
Literally, because he's gonna be disgusting there. And
I got
everyone
the
hates
Titans
Eagles.
here.
Titans at 11, Orion.
I mean, their offensive line is trash. Trash, dude. I'm taking Skaronski. I'll put him wherever I
Damn.
need to. He's the best player on
Damn.
the board as far as like offensive lineman by far. Skaronski for the Titans.
Man, bear with me while I try to spell this. Wow. I was definitely going to take him. I should have placed the call from the Texans.
Yeah, no calls. I
12.
don't accept calls anymore.
Damn. Houston Texans. This pick is from Cleveland as part of the Deshaun Watson deal. Already drafted CJ Stroud. So you want to protect him. But we just lost our chance at a tremendous left guard prospect. Ouch. We're going to have to go back to the drawing board here and see what to do. They drafted
Bijan.
no.
Damian Pierce.
They
is pretty good.
need way too much to go there. I was going to say they drafted Stingley, cornerback out of LSU last year, so we're not going to go cornerback. So what in the world are we going to do? I got to go down my big board here. What are we looking at?
They're getting what's his name back too from Alabama, the receiver there.
Yeah, they're getting John Mechie. He just got cleared after his cancer diagnosis last year.
Signed Robert Woods.
I think they might try to solidify the offensive line and go Darnell Wright here.
Wow, 4
That's
tackles
high.
that quick,
That's
huh?
high. That's high.
I'm looking around. It doesn't make sense for them to go for a running back when the team is just kind of garbage. They
They
got
have
some good play from was it Pierce, the rookie running back last season?
They have Tunsil. You're going to put Darnell on the right?
Darnell on the right, yeah. He fits as a right tackle.
God, that'd be
Okay.
beastly. That's a beastly fucking line there. All right.
All right. All right. He's in.
Green Bay
He's in.
Packers.
So Green Bay from the Jets.
Yeah,
Talk
part of
about
the
the
Aaron Rodgers deal.
trade.
They
The
really
Aaron
wanted
Rodgers
to
trade
move up
went for,
ahead of the Patriots on this one.
which is unusual because I don't see our needs as meeting. You see, Green Bay, they got a young quarterback. Their offensive line is okay. And in this situation, there's not really anyone they can get. Maybe they'd want to get us a tackle over us, but in this situation, good luck to them. I know they need a safety, but that's whatever. I feel like they're going to go with some talent around to put around Jordan Love. Their receivers aren't great, but I don't see any receiver needs.
I don't think Smith and Jigba fits their thresholds.
No.
I
They
think
like the long
they
guys. I mean,
they like the bigger, longer, straight line speed guys.
there's also
Historically,
tight end.
Like
I mean,
Christian
tight
Watson.
end. Yeah, tight end makes kind of a lot of sense here.
They could jumped on that.
tight end could be the thing. I'm thinking tight end. I see a lot of projections out there for tight end for these guys. Is Kincaid considered the most likely tight end, or Michael
It's
Mayer?
him or Mayer. It's him or Mayer.
Yeah, it's one of those guys.
All right. What's their measurables here? Let's see. Mayer's 6'5", 249. Kincaid 6'4". We're gonna go with the bigger guy. We're gonna go Michael Mayer from Notre Dame.
It's a good
Lock him
pick.
in there.
Keep
It's a
him in the
great pick.
Midwest.
Pick
That,
13.
that makes my decision very easy. I'm going Devin Witherspoon to the New
Oh
England
my
Patriots
goodness.
at
He
14.
fell.
How did he
He
sneak
did
past
not
us?
orchestrate that. Well, I didn't think anyone needed a cornerback.
Fucking played you guys like fiddles, dude.
Yeah, right. Shut up.
Getting all upset over there. Wow.
I mean, I can't.
That's a
wanted
dream.
tackle to go, though. That is a dream.
That's a dream.
That shifts your whole defense. Basically, even if you don't necessarily need him, our whole defense just says, look what it did to the Jets. It made
Dude, I got
everybody on that front seven better.
I just got a stud.
Wow.
I'm
I might
pumped.
streak through the neighborhood if we land Devin Witherspoon in the first
Same.
round. Yeah.
I'd be so excited, dude.
Okay, so I got the Jets at 15 here.
Everyone's saying they've gone tackle.
They got a really nice skill position group. Exactly. Who knows what's going on up at that offensive line? I wonder. I thought I just had somebody in mind and they escaped me. I wonder if they might try to go on the edge defensively. I don't know. It's kind of a win now team, so you don't want to get a developmental prospect at this point. So you might want to go with somebody that's more of a sure thing. Again, consulting two different big boards.
Nolan?
They might go Nolan Smith.
That's a nice player.
I think they're going to take Nolan Smith.
That's a nice pick. Freak.
So
What
that's the Jets?
The Jets. Nolan Smith,
Oh,
number one
God.
overall recruit out of high school.
Have you listened to any of Nolan Smith's interviews?
No.
No.
Oh my god, dude.
Is he polished?
He's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
He's all about it, dude. Like, dude loves football, loves Georgia. Like, every time he gets behind the mic, he's promoting Georgia, and he's a fucking freak. I really like that kid.
Insane speed. 4.4, maybe sub 4.4
Wasn't he like
speed
the
off the
number
edge.
one? He was top 5 at coming out of high school, guaranteed. Like,
what I read was number one. He was a number one overall recruit in the country.
Yeah, he's awesome, dude. I like
All
him.
right. The Commanders to James J.
Oh, boy.
Oof.
Riverboat Run. Who is he going for? So, what are their needs? I mean, they have tons of defensive needs. Do they have a quarterback?
No, they don't have a quarterback, and for some reason aren't interested in Lamar Jackson, who plays right down the road from them.
Yeah.
Just
and we
wait.
already
Riddle me that
drafted
one.
Richardson and Will Levis. I don't think they go hand in hooker at this point. I feel like that's got to be a reach, right?
Yeah, it's too high.
Their receivers, they got, what's his name? That's pretty good, but that's about it. I think they go a Jigba. I feel like that's a good pick for them.
Okay.
Falls in there.
Jackson, Smith, and Jigba.
Yeah, I don't think. I think we're gonna receivers might go quicker than we expected because we didn't have any of the TIF pick now 16, and it always goes. They go way faster. Like
Well,
last year, wasn't there a run on him? It was a similar situation where there wasn't anybody. I mean, Garrett Wilson was up there, but he went pretty high.
we're
You know,
entering the run on them right now.
and well, there was a run on him early
So
last year. We thought it was like 10 and later. Last year it started early, so that can happen too.
I really
Broderick
like
Jones though went high.
I really like what Pittsburgh's done with their offensive line through free agency. They lost a linebacker, but they brought in some line. They brought in a lot of linebackers through free agency. I hate these needs for PFF. I think this pick is a corner or a safety. I think Brian Branch is the best pick, but I think they're going to take Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah, just because of the connection.
because of the connection, and I think he's a really good player. I mean, I don't think he's got the upside of a lot of these other guys, but
Mm-hmm.
he can definitely play.
Yeah, big,
Enjoy.
big prospect. 6'2", 210. Classic cover 3 corner. Okay, 18, Detroit with their second selection. Earlier, we landed them Christian
Is that the Stafford trade?
Gonzalez.
Is that what happened? The first one was the Stafford.
The first
trade,
one was the Stafford trade, yeah. This one is their actual pick.
Mm-hmm.
18, they've got some pretty good receivers. Jamison Williams showed flashes last year. We know what Amon-Ra St. Brown is. Might want to fill out that tight end role. So I'm going to stick him with Dalton Kincaid here after they traded away. What's his face to Minnesota last year?
Mm-hmm.
Nice pick.
Gotcha. All right, I got the Tampa Bay Bucks coming up.
Jeez.
Yeah, talk about a lot of holes right there for picking 19. Who is their quarterback after Brady? Did they get it? Bring anyone in?
Yeah, they brought in Baker Mayfield.
Baker, yeah.
Baker. Oof.
And they have Kyle Trask. So
They got
Yeah,
Trask,
second
they
round
got
pick
good
2 years ago.
receivers. Their offensive line is whatever, but they're not getting anyone at 20.
lost Shaq Mason.
Oh, I know who they're going. What's his name? Bijan hasn't gone, has he?
No, I was just thinking that.
Let's do it. Bijan Robinson, number 19 at Tampa. I think that's a great pick for them.
That's
Get
a
a
star.
game-changing running back.
Wow, I
That's a
should have
star.
taken him for the Lions.
Yeah, you should have.
Okay, good for them. Seattle drafting at 20 to Ryan.
And their first pick was
Jalen Carter.
Jalen
Carter, yeah.
Jalen Carter, yeah, right.
Seattle's got Jalen Carter. I'm gonna go ahead. I like Jalen Carter. I think I'm gonna get him the best guard in the class. I'm gonna take Torrance. Well, second best after Skaronski. We'll take Osiris Torrance.
Outstanding name.
Tackle?
Yeah, guard.
Guard, okay.
Very good.
I would have liked to see the Chargers end up with Bijan. That would have been fun.
Yeah. That's exactly what they need to pair with Eckler as a stable all-around running back like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Chargers at 21. We are looking around what to do. They got big-time playmakers at various positions around the team: cornerback, safety, defensive end. Those 2 receivers, Eckler. I think they might try to add to that receiving core. Mike Williams gets injured all the time, and it totally changes their offense when that happens. Keenan Allen is getting up there in age, but he's more of a possession, move the sticks, not get the ball in the end zone. I think they're going to jump on Jalen Hyatt, wide receiver, Tennessee.
Ooh.
Consummate deep threat. Only ran a 4.4, but he plays real fast.
Oh,
wow,
I did not see you
jumped
going
way
Hyatt,
up
though.
over a lot of guys, huh?
Jalen Hyatt.
Why over the 4 other guys that could have been drafted? Just because of
Well,
size?
I think the speed, the way that he tilts the field. Mike Williams does that.
Game?
Oh yeah, he scored like 5 or 6 touchdowns in that game.
He had 5
Oh, that's
touchdowns
him,
against
right?
Alabama. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
it was insane. Probably the best game of the season last year. Um, I mean, just like best game to watch. Yeah, Jalen Hyatt. I think he'll fill in for Mike Williams. Different type of threat, but again,
Mm-hmm.
draw safety help.
All right. So next up is the Ravens. A lot of uncertainty about this team. I can see them moving around depending on what happens with Lamar. If Lamar stays, they've been desperately trying to get people at receiver over the past so many years, and they spent was it a first round last year? They got what's his name, right? At receiver. I can't remember his name.
2 years ago, they got Rashad Bateman out of
2 years ago.
Minnesota. Yeah,
Who really hasn't done much. I think they're going in the receiver pool. It's a matter of who are they taking. There's a few guys out there. I think the prototypical guy for them is Jordan Addison. Going with it. USC.
Jordan Addison.
I would have thought they would have taken a corner there, to be honest with you, but it's all good.
Well, who's left
If
for
the
a corner?
Oh, there's lots of
There's
corners.
a lot of them, but who?
There's lots of
Banks?
good corners.
Maybe Deontay Banks.
Nah, you already picked him.
We already
No,
picked him?
he's available.
You already picked Addison.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
You
already picked
picked
Addison. No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
All right, cool. I got the Vikings pick
The
here at 23.
Vikings at 23.
So this is really like between two players because Kalijah Cansey is a perfect fit there. And I need someone to complement Justin or Jefferson there.
Right.
To me, this is either Quentin Johnston or Kalijah Cansey. I feel like Quentin Johnston hasn't shown me enough. I'm going to go Kalijah Cansey.
Wow.
For Minnesota, D tackle.
Yep. That's
Good.
That's a great fucking pick for them too. Like,
Speaking of John Randall, comparisons right there.
yep.
Okay, Jaguars 24. I am going to hit them with, let's see, they could use a playmaker. So let me consult this big board. Brian Branch,
Oh yes.
top rated player on the board.
Oh yeah.
Could use a playmaker on defense.
Dude, that's a beautiful pick.
The safety. He wasn't picked yet.
Safety, slot cornerback, all around playmaker. Think Minka Fitzpatrick type style.
So versatile, dude. Swiss Army knife. He's so good, dude. I love Brian Branch. I'd like to take him higher. He could play outside corner too. He could play outside corner.
Branch is a big boy. 25, New York Giants. I mean, they got a few needs there. I know they need a cornerback. I know they need to get Daniel Jones weapons. I feel like they're just going to go receiver just because of their awful situation recently. Quentin Johnson's still out there. Zay Flowers is still out there. I don't know. Do either of you guys see one fitting better than the other? Kind of thinking Zay Flowers, but Quentin Johnson is rated higher.
I would say, based on the people they've signed in free agency, given big money to, the big bodies like Galladay and stuff like that, I would think they would be infatuated with Johnston, but I could see either.
Especially since he's still there. All right, we're going Quentin Johnston.
Quentin Johnston, TCU. Next up, Dallas Cowboys, 26 to Ryan.
Bijan's gone. All right, we're going to grab Miles Murphy. Edge from Clemson.
Oh, nice one.
Lucas Van Ness is dropping.
I know, well,
right?
Not much longer.
All right.
The Buffalo Bills winding up with edge defender. I know they got Von Miller. I know they drafted Gregory Rousseau.
Kyer Elam last year.
Kyer Elam, well, at cornerback. I'm thinking edge guys. AJ Epinesa hasn't worked out the way that they were hoping. I think they go back into the Iowa pool and try to bring it out of Lucas Van Ness. Won't have to play right away. Doesn't need to be an immediate impact guy, but
Mm-hmm.
he'll rotate in when Von Miller rotates out.
Gotcha. Bengals are up next.
Oh my god, I wanted this pick, dude.
You can't get them all, right? I'm trying to think who they would like and who is still up there. I know we talked about tight end. Darnell Washington's still there. They don't need a receiver. Nolan Smith is already gone. Trying to. Gets a little tough when you're this far in.
Yeah, you're on the clock. You don't have 10 minutes to pick like
This is like my
the pros
favorite
do.
part of the draft. This area right here, I
Yeah.
love this sweet spot of the draft, dude.
Who are their cornerbacks on the Bengals?
Woozier?
or Woozier, and
I'm not sure who else they
who's
have.
the guy that gets beat all the time? That's become kind of a
Oh,
joke.
Eli Apple.
Yeah,
Right, so he's getting crushed there. All right,
Twitter
so we're gonna
superstar.
do. We're gonna go with Deontay Banks, cornerback, Maryland.
it's a good pick.
There we go.
Honestly, they could definitely use that. I'm the Saints. I hate everybody on my roster. Everybody's overpaid. Everybody's overpaid. Ugh. I don't like the way this. I'm going John Michael Schmitz.
The hell's that?
Yeah.
He's the best center in the draft.
How about that? The old sexy pick at 29, center. Next up, the Eagles, who already selected Will Anderson
At 10.
at 10.
Fucking.
Now they're sitting here at 30. Again, roster's in pretty damn good shape.
Falls, Rye. It's how the board falls.
Oh, dude, it's not gonna happen.
No, it's not gonna happen.
I got, Miles Sanders walked out the door. I think they try to fill that hole with Jahmyr Gibbs.
Dude,
Jahmyr
he's the
Gibbs?
best receiving back in the draft.
For a good stretch of last season, he was the number one receiver in terms of yardage on Alabama.
It's such a good pick, man.
Yeah, so 31 because this is the last of the draft because Dolphins, right?
Dolphins tampered with Brady.
So I don't get to pick 32?
Nope.
You can take the
sure. If you want.
Yeah, who is it? It's Chicago.
So I know Kansas City, their left tackle left in free agency. He's still unsigned, or did they re-sign him?
No, they let him go.
They let him go. He went to Cincinnati, and then the right tackle, Mitchell Schwartz, left.
So
also,
they need a tackle. And Darnell Wright is still sitting out there, correct, or is he gone?
No, he's gone. I took him at 12.
Now, the other thing that's interesting about them is that Zay Flowers, they let Juju Smith-Schuster leave. They got, Sky Moore last year? Was that last year? 2 years ago?
They also let Frank Clark leave.
Frank Clark leave. So Zay Flowers is kind of their guy sitting right there. 5'9", 182. They like those guys, right?
How scary would that be?
Yeah.
Him
That'd
and
be pretty
Tony.
bad. Now, who else do we have at O-tackle? Darnell. There's Anthony Harrison is kind of the next up.
Anton Harrison's the best tackle. I would have taken him over Darnell Wright, to be honest with you, but he took him for the Texans, which makes sense.
I mean, do they go receiver or do they go tackle? They're both helping out Mahomes. They need to go tackle. I think it's too big of a hole. They didn't bring anyone in, did they?
They got a right tackle. They paid that guy from Jacksonville, Jawan. I want to say Jawan Jones.
Jawan Jones. They want Jawan Jones. I think they want him to play left too, which he hasn't done.
So because of that, the uncertainty, we're going to go Anton Harrison. O-tackle, Oklahoma.
All right.
Just so Ryan doesn't have a heart attack that they got Zay Flowers.
Dude, that would be crazy.
So what do you think? What are you going to do 32? Who's the next up? Is it
Chicago?
Oh, it's the second round. It's the second round, so I can't even really do it.
No, do it. Take one. Whatever. 32.
Take one? Okay.
I'd go receiver. Zay Jones. Zay Flowers. What the hell's his name?
Definitely don't want to say Jones.
Zay Flowers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad pick. But I'm going Darnell Washington.
Oh,
Tight end.
2 big tight ends for them. Go with Cole Kmet. Bam.
Oh,
Not bad.
let's go, dude.
Pretty good. So highlights, we got 4 quarterbacks in the top 10.
Yep.
At the end of the top 10, Tyree Wilson, Will Anderson, back to back edge players, highly rated guys. All 4 of the top tackles went in the top 12. And
Yeah,
the
tackles went high, dude.
You know, it's well, in all these mock drafts, they're going low, but you know, I mean, it changes every year. But a lot of teams need offensive line help.
Yeah.
I can't. The 2 tackles going that high I haven't seen that. And then
Yeah, but when you look at the teams, it's like these teams need they need offensive line desperately.
are the Raiders committed to Garoppolo? Like,
I don't know. I could
and
see
then
Josh bringing a guy in, but I don't know. Maybe
I think there's no chance in hell that the Cardinals stay at 3.
Yeah, well, they're flying the smoke signals, saying this is shopped, and you might be able to get it cheap.
I don't think there's any way that's not being traded for. If I would trade out. You know,
I would
you're gonna
too.
get a haul. Look what
San Fran got.
look what Chicago got.
San Fran 2 years ago paid
DJ Moore,
everything.
all these fucking picks.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
that's a lot.
Sean, can you share that list with us when you get a sec?
Oh, you betcha. Yeah, we will be revisiting this list probably as we do our draft recap podcast. And then definitely again draft season next year. And we'll see how the redraft would go. Because I guarantee half of these, if it's a normal draft, which they all are, half of these guys are going to look pretty shitty a year
We're gonna
from
have
now.
to do we're gonna have to do a post draft pod too.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Of course.
We'll definitely recap it.
Yeah.
It's an exciting time of year. This is one of the greatest events going. And
Christmas in April.
yeah. And luckily for us, they stretched it out over 3 days, so the gifts keep coming. This was fun.
Yeah, good stuff, guys.
Good. Yeah, the draft's always fun.
Love it.
I like the
So on the if you
mock
guys
draft
follow
is
us,
a good added.
if you guys follow us on Facebook, I've posted I think I've posted cornerback and wide receiver rankings. Work's been crazy, so I haven't been able to do full write ups on all these other positions, but I have all my rankings and I'll put them up next couple days. So you'll be able to
Check it out.
dig into that and give me shit and whatever you want.
Hell yeah. And again, NFLDraftHead.com, just like Crackhead, which is what I feel like some of these times looking over these prospects. So check that out as well. All right. Thank you all for listening, and go Patriots on
Go
draft
Pats.
night.
Devin Witherspoon, let's go.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Let's make it happen.
Let's go,
All right.
Pats.
We'll talk to you guys later.
All right, bye.
Adios. Nice.
Oh, we got JJ